welcome back to a brand new video on Tech Droids, and today we are talking about the best $700 gaming PC build that you can build for the money. So let's take a look at the performance that this beast offers and then the parts that make it possible. So be sure to drop a like rating and get subscribed if you haven't already. So without any further ado, let's get started, and every part mentioned in this video is linked in the description below, so check them out. And with that being said, let's get started with the build. So talking about performance in this PC, this thing will smash some of the latest AAA titles in 1080p whilst achieving some great frame rates at the max settings possible. The likes of Witcher 3, GTA 5, Battlefield 1, Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate. All these games run at max in 1080p whilst achieving some good frame rates. Even though you can crank up anti-aliasing, it's not recommended if you want to play at the ultra settings. And 1440p gaming is also possible with the AAA titles if you are fine with lowering down the settings a little bit and cranking down textures and anti-aliasing a little bit. And 4K gaming will be possible with some of the moderately demanding games such as League of Legends, World of Warcraft, Minecraft and CSGO. And 1080p gaming will be a breeze. 4K is also possible with the moderately demanding games whilst achieving some good frame rates such as 100 and above in Dota 2 or Minecraft. And this thing is just a beast, so let's get started with the parts. Now for the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i5-6500. It's a quad-core CPU clocked at 3.2 GHz and it's of the LGA1151 socket type. It's the newer 6th generation processor and it's of the Skylake architecture. This performs really well in every game and it's also capable of some video editing. It costs only $203 and does the job, and it just falls short of the i5-6600K. That's the highest end Core i5 from Intel, and that has the ability to overclock and has a higher clock speed. But this CPU is no slouch, and this does not have the ability to overclock but performs really well in every game and in video editing as well. So this CPU will be a really good choice if you are building this PC. You can even go for an AMD CPU, but that will change the whole route of this thing. But the CPU for this budget is really good and perfect for gaming and video editing. So how's that CPU? As the motherboard, I went for the Gigabyte H110 Micro ATX motherboard. It supports DDR4, HDMI 1.4 and LGA1151. Now this is nothing spectacular, doesn't support overclocking. Our CPU is anyway not overclockable. It costs $49, does the job, a cheap and good motherboard. It has stuff like HDMI, USB 3.0, SATA 6 gigabits per second and slots for SSDs and our graphic card, but nothing spectacular, will do the job. And this is the Gigabyte H110 Micro ATX motherboard. For RAM, I went for the Corsair Vengeance LPX 8GB. It's clocked at 2400 MHz. That's the highest clock speed you can get out of the RAM. DDR4 RAM, it's of the DDR4, that means it's really fast and it's only supported by Intel CPUs. It costs $50. I know it's on the higher end side, but I didn't pay this for the good looks or the heat spreaders or that sporty look, but for the performance. This is 2400 MHz and this is ECC memory, so it's really fast, does the job. 16 gigs is very unnecessary and very overkill. 8 gigs is mostly enough for anything you do, editing, gaming, and I don't think so you would ever want to upgrade from 8 gigs. If you really feel like PC is lagging behind, you can go for 16 gigs, but 16 gigs will be overkill and 8 gigs will be able to do anything you throw at them. So for primary storage, I went with the Seagate Barracuda SATA 6 gigabits per second 7200 RPM drive. This is 1 terabytes of storage, that means 1000 gigabytes, mostly enough for your games, your Steam library and all that stuff. But hard drives are not the fastest in the world, so in this PC I went for the Kingston SSD Now V300. It's a 128GB SSD but will perform really well. This will make the PC performance significantly better and faster. The programs open up faster, editing works faster, gaming is faster, games open up faster, and this does make everything faster. So the SSD costs $44 and the hard drive costs $50. So your storage is solved. 128 gigs is not the largest amount of storage in the world. You can't store a lot of games, but we'll be able to store a few games that are small in size and few programs and your operating system. But SSD is always worth it in any system on any budget. So that's the Kingston SSD Now V300. For the power supply, I went with the EVGA 600 watt 80 plus certified. It's the 80 plus bronze certified. That means it works above 80% efficiency at all times at any given load. It's a really good power supply. 600 watts is not overkill, and it's really good and sufficient for this build. So it costs 49 bucks, and that's the EVGA 600 watt power supply. For the graphics card, I went with the EVGA GeForce GTX 1060 3GB edition. This is a single fan edition, but this thing is no slouch, so don't go by its size. This is the super clock edition. It offers up to 2000 megahertz of boost clock. It supports it gives you 3GB of GDDR5 memory. It supports 3 display ports, 1 HDMI and 1 DVI-D. It costs 199 bucks, and it supports DirectX 12 and EVGA's ACX 2.0 cooling. That means this will perform like a beast in any game, in any editing software at any resolution. It can play 4K, and it's also capable of some light VR as well. And it is SLI ready, so you can pair another 1060 in the future if you really want that. But 3GB of GDDR5 memory is mostly enough for anything you want to do at 1080p or 1440p, and the moderately demanding games at 4K as well. So that's the GPU 1060 for 199 bucks. To house everything, I went for the Corsair 100R as our PC case. It cost 49 bucks, on 47 bucks on the higher end side, but this is really good for this build. Looks minimal, has I/O different, has some space for cable management, clear side plate, and just a really good looking case, and really cheap as well. So cheap and good. That's been the TDP of this build. And that wraps up, guys, the $700 gaming PC build for the month of October, November and December. If you enjoyed, then give this video a massive thumbs up and get subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. And that's been it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Tech Droids video.